Okay, this morning I want to address my leg issue that I have with my extension table. The last time I built my legs, I just built them out of this solid oak and screwed them right to the corners there and called it good. This is just a shade over a 1-inch square, and you can see what happens. 2 screws running through there, but then when you walk by, you know, you kick it sometimes or something happens, so it kind of torques on you and it split. Okay, so that's really not that big a deal. I think I may be able to reuse that. But what I'm going to do is similar to what I did with my router dust collection. I'm going to build a sleeve and make this fit inside that sleeve and give me some adjustability. So what I've got 2 pieces of scrap Baltic here. 10 inches is what I want, and that's what this one is. And this one's just a hair over, but I can cut that off and get rid of these screw holes here in the. Yeah, I'll probably get rid of that one anyway. So I'm going to make sleeves for this leg. And the reason I want to keep it is I've got an adjustable bolt on the bottom here that I can use to run in and out. And, I'm not even sure what I got on there. Hang on a second. I can lock once I get it in place, I can lock this against the bolt to keep it from moving. So I have I got about a 1/2 inch of, a good half I would call it, of adjustability there. So you want to have as little out as possible, but to keep it more stable. So that's plenty of adjustment when it comes to a table leg like this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these sleeves, and then in the sleeve I'll be able to slide it up and down as well. And I'll have a good 2 inches of adjustment in there. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it on here and flush it up. I don't even know what my width is going to be because this Baltic birch plywood is so variable in thickness. But there is my width for 2 pieces. And then I need the other 2 pieces that are going to go inside dados, much like I did with that dust collecting box here. And that'll give me a nice stable sleeve. So then what I'll have, let me get my pencil here. A little unprepared for you this morning. Hang on. Then what I'll have is I have to imagine I've got a box here. It's going to be 10 inches, a little, not quite this wide, but I'm inside this box, the first 3 inches, and I'm going to fill with a cutoff of this. So when I bolt it to my table, it'll be a solid connection going through. The bolt will go through a solid connection, and I can really tighten that thing down. And then I'll be able to slide this up and down. If this was the 3-inch mark, say about here, I'll be able to slide this a good 2 or 3 inches, and then make my adjustments. Okay, so let me build these sleeves, and then when I come back, I'll show you what I got in mind for them. Okay, now I got my 4 pieces cut here for my outside pieces, I'll call them. To figure out what the inside pieces are going to be, they're going to be identical. I'm just going to make half laps So it's going to be this plus this, and that's it, because if I go halfway into each, it's going to be double that thickness. So I'm just going to take this leftover piece here, line it up. I can do it this way so you can see what's going on here. There, that's my thickness right there. So I'll cut 4 this length here, or this width I should say. I'll cut 4 this width from here to the line. And then I should be good. Make my dado cuts here on both sides, and then fit these in there. So let me do that, and we will be back. All right, after some playing around, I've got the width of my 2 outside pieces, I call them, perfect. I got it just slides nice and easy. So I'm going to finish up the other 2. What I don't have dialed in is the depth of my dado. And you can see that I've got probably about 3/32 there. But it's much easier to cut this to width than it is to adjust this up, adjust my dado blade up to cut that distance in half. So I'm going to leave these alone, and then I'm going to recut these to the proper width that I want, and then I'll be good to go. I can glue them up. So that'll be good. This is going to slide nice and slick. I want a good fit there. I don't have one this way, but I do this way, so that's what I'm looking for. I got to fine tune this one here. Let me do these other 2, and then I'll come back after I find the proper width cut for these other pieces, and then we'll put them together. Okay, I've got the fit I like. It's a nice slide and just a little wiggle, not much at all. And these little extra tabs on the end here, I'll trim them off once I get it glued up. So this one's done. I've got it marked 1, and I've got this leg marked 1. So I know that these 2 are going to go together. I'll do the same thing with the other set. Glue them up, and then we'll finish up the operation. All right, number 1 is out of the clamps. I've got a nice fit here. I did have to take a little bit of a whisper pass with my plane on this side to get it to fit, but then when I get to this part where it's split, it gets tight. But that's okay, because I'm going to use that as a block anyway. All right, so that's good. I like that. So I'm going to take this one and set it aside. I'm going to mark this though before I get carried away here. Grab my pencil again. I'm going to mark which way I've got it oriented. So this is going to be, I've got 1 marked up here, 1 there. I'm just going to put a 1 up here and put these back together. Okay, so now the other one, take it out of the clamps here. And the way I clamped this was, I put these 2 clamps on first to pull it together, and then pull the other 2 down. And a little word to the wise here, and I'll show you here in a second. One thing that you have to be aware of is not to use too much glue on a project like this, because when you look down the gun barrel there, you want that to be clean. So you see that? That's got to be nice and clean in there. You don't want any glue squeeze out to mess around with in there. You'll never get it out down the middle. So I went just very light on the 2 outside edges of this, and also on these two edges where they meet, I did not put any glue in the corners here, so nothing would seep out that way. I didn't care about it coming this way or out this way, but I didn't want it on the inside. So let's see how this one fits. Let me grab my second leg here. And incidentally, when I pull this one apart, I've got the other piece that's still on the floor. She snapped on me, but I'll glue that back together. And that's a good fit. I don't have to do anything to this one. We rotate it once. That fits good either direction, so I don't have to worry about marking this one. So there we go. Grab my piece here. Son of a bitch. Grab my piece here. There we are. So I'll glue that back together. Put a clamp on that. And that'll serve as my wedge. So what I'm going to do now is I've got, let me reset my camera here and show you what I got in mind. Okay, so what you're looking at here is my guide tube and the end of my extension table. I took the time to square these up, clean off the edges, and then cut them to length. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to mount them on the ends here. Now I know that I'm going to lose some of this here for my inside cart, but what I am going to do to help register these is I'm going to take and mark them right here. And I'm going to create a rabbet there so that when I bolt it in there, it's gonna be bolted here and both ways, and then it's going to have this ledge that it's going to sit on to take some of the weight, and then my leg will slide up inside of that. And the reason I'm bolting them is if this thing ever gets moved, I want to be able to take this off. So I'll mark them 1 and 2 and put marks on my table here as well, so I know which one goes where. What I am going to have to do is take my guide tube off again so I can get this bolt in here. I'm going to have to use a carriage bolt. Yeah, I'm going to use a carriage bolt so I have clearance. But I'll show you all that when I get ready to go. So now that I've got this marked, let me widen this out a little bit. Now that I've got this marked, I'm going to measure this length. Should be about 3 inches. And fill it. Yeah, it's 3 inches, just about 3 inches on the nose. So I'm going to take the cutoff from my legs and fill that with, so it's solid, so that when I drill through it and bolt it, I'm going to have a nice solid piece to bolt to. And then that'll shorten my leg by that amount as well. But then I'll shorten my leg even more so that I have some adjustability here. So I'll show you all that in just a minute. Okay, so tube number 1, leg number 1. Taking this measurement off of here, it's 3 inches. I'm going to make it 3. And I'm going to make my mark on this piece. And this is going to become my filler. I will cut this off. Hopefully it stays in one piece for me. I think it will. I'm gonna put it in here with a little glue. Not a lot because I don't want any squeeze out going this direction, going that way. So I might even force it up. I might force it up from the bottom here so that I don't get any squeeze out on this end. And that'll be that. That's going to make this a nice solid piece to bolt through two different directions. And I'll locate my holes on my table, and then once I touch with my bit coming through those holes, I'll drill these on the drill press so they stay nice and straight. Okay. So let me do that. My other one here is cooking. I think that's about ready. The glue is dry on that. I glue that split piece back on there. I'll do the same thing, measure this one and cut them both, glue this up, and then we can get busy on the other operation. The other thing I'm going to do on these is that I'm going to round these edges over. Now that I got my router table set up, I'll round these over so that they're not, if you bang into them. I'm not going to round over the top edge, but I am going to do the bottom edge here, so it's not so hard on you if you ever bang your hand or knee into it or something like that. So I'll do that operation as well. Oh, and then and then the other thing is I'm going to create this rabbet here on these two edges. This one and this one. So I have to remove that waste. I'm going to take probably a 1/4 of an inch. I'll probably leave just a little bit of a ply here, and then a 1/4 inch this way, and that'll register that in that corner. All right, we'll get that going here. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, when I went to do the second one here, and I push it up into the corner of my extension table, there was a bunch of glue squeeze out there. And trust me, if I had known I was doing this beforehand, I would have cleaned out that glue squeeze out beforehand, because standing on your head cleaning that stuff out is not fun. But I got rid of it. So just a little word to the wise for you: if you are going to do something like this and your table's on your bench, clean up that corner before you put it on your table saw. All right, one down, 3-inch block. I did take it from this end, and I want to show you how I did that. So I just took my glue bottle here and put in a bunch of glue here. I know that if I don't go past my second knuckle, I'll be okay. Got a screw hole there that took a lot of the glue away from me. So I'm just gonna give it a little exam here. That should be good. Then it's nothing more than just doing the old packing the gunpowder here. I can hear it too, glue blowing out of this hole. Okay, so that assures me that that is going to be, first of all, flush, but then any glue that it forced out was all on this end. So those two are done and ready to go. And then my two sides here where the rabbets are going to be cut off, where the ledge is created on these sides here. yeah, I guess that's next. I'm going to do that next because then I'll create my roundovers. I'll show you everything after I get that done. I should have known better, but I started to make my crosscut this way so that I'd avoid tear out on the face side, but then on the inside it started to tear out. So I just took my tri-square, measured my depth here this way, and then I scribed a line to eliminate that. So if it does snap, it'll snap out the line there. And the other thing, I'm staying just shy of the line here so that I make sure I get a good positive registration to this ledge. And I'm not, I don't have a gap between this. If it hits this first, I don't want a gap there. So I'm staying about probably a 1/16 shy of the line. Let's see how the router table works. Downdraft only. I've got a temporary leg sitting out here because if I put too much pressure on this, it wants to go over. So all I've got is just my draft from below. Normally I'd use my fence on here, but I don't want to put all that weight on here. So I'm going to see what happens. Bad. A little burning, but I don't care about that. Adds character. So a little sanding here. One thing I would tell you is that I did scribe a line across the bottom here after I figured out what the height was so that I didn't get any chip out. You got a little bit right there, but not bad. So I'll sand these. They're nice now, but I'll sand them some more. Blend it all together. And that'll be my my support for my tube for my leg. All right.